Hello, and welcome to this micro lesson for Teach English Now. This is going to be a reading, writing, and grammar integrated lesson. My intended students are secondary school students with intermediate level of English. I don't actually have a class right now, so you're going to listen to me because this lesson is quiet as it would be for a real class. So let's start. First of all, we are going to start our lesson with a reading activity. In this section of our lesson, I'm going to give you a news article. And for the first time, I want you to only read the headline, not the whole article. Just look and read the title of the news. So what are we going to read about? Our news is from manythings.org. Website, and we are going to read about the importance of washing hands. Let me ask you a few questions before reading the whole article. Is washing hands important? Or when are we supposed to wash our hands? Or how often are we supposed to wash our hands? So let's try to answer these questions. Washing hands is important because it prevents us from bacteria. And we are supposed to wash our hands before eating or after coming back home from somewhere else, or we're supposed to wash our hands after using bathrooms. Yeah, so these are most likely answers that we may get from the students. And now you are going to read the whole article, but by skimming, which means you're not supposed to write the whole article in details, but read the article, look through the article, read the news, and underline all the unknown words that you don't know their meaning. So you have 3 minutes for this activity. Time's up, and let's look at some our unknown words for intermediate level that may have some difficulty to find their meaning. We have to prevent the spread, to urge, infectious, and to rinse. So let's explain them in details using their definitions. So our first word is to prevent, which means to stop something from happening. For example, washing hands prevent the spread of viruses. All right, so our second word is the spread, which means the growth of something in larger area. As we said, the spread of virus or the spread of bacteria and so on. Third word is to urge, which means to strongly advise someone to do something. For example, scientists urge people to wash their hands for a minute. And our fourth word is infectious, and as you can see from our suffix OUS, we can know that infectious is an adjective and we can use it before nouns. Infectious means producing infections. So, an infectious disease, for example. And our last word, to rinse, means to wash hands with water, to clean it. For example, there was no soap, so I had to rinse my hands with water. Okay, so that was our reading activity. And while reading, you came across some kind of grammar structure, and we are going to explain these kind of grammar structures in detail so that you can use them in your speech more frequently. So, this kind of grammar structure is used mainly to give our opinions or advice, and it's plus adjective and plus to infinitive. So, let's look at some examples. It's important to wash hands. It's important to wash hands, or for example, before eating. It's plus important adjective and plus to infinitive, to wash. And let's look at another examples. For example, it's helpful to do something, or it's useful to do something, or we can say it's advisable to do something, it's unnecessary to do something, or it's not necessary to do something. For example, it's necessary to eat healthy. So we use this kind of structure to give our opinions or advice, and the structure is formed is plus adjective and plus infinitive. And as you know, it is the contradiction for it is. All right, so that was our grammar point, grammar structure. And now we are going to start our writing activity. So again, before starting our writing activity, I want to ask you some questions about two kinds of treatment. These are Western treatment, and another type of treatment is alternative way of treatment. So what are their differences, alternative treatment and Western treatment, and what kind of these treatments do you know? So let's start with Western kind of treatment. So let's look at the board. We have talked about alternative medicine and the kinds of alternative medicine, and in this picture we can see more in detail that alternative ways of treatment are, for example, acupuncture. Then we may use doing yoga, like changing our lifestyle. It also helps our immune system and all the it's also a great way of alternative treatment. And then we have kind of aromatherapy that we use mainly herbs. And then here the alternative treatment versus Western treatment. And as you can see, Western treatments are mainly consisted of using drugs and medicines or even surgery operations. Okay, and now look, let's create an outline of our essay, and we'll create two outlines because you may choose either one of the treatment. So you can have some kind of idea, the outline that what you're going to write about. So let's start. Let's start with Western treatment, and we have we have Western treatment is better because, so we should write some pros and cons, the positive sides of Western treatment and its drawbacks. So let's start with the pros of Western treatment. The one of the most important thing is, of course, the rapid healing, it encourages rapid healing, and it is also more innovative that we use the brand new in hospitals. Doctors use brand new appliances for surgery or for treatment, and it targets the disease and tries to cure that disease. But what are the cons of Western treatment? Is Western treatment focuses on only curing one disease, and if you use lots of the medicines, like lots of drugs, it should definitely will have some side effects to other parts of our body, and it will not provide long-term benefits because of our rapid metabolism. So these are pros and cons of Western treatment. And now let's look at alternative treatment, some pros and cons of alternative treatment. One of the most important positive side of alternative treatment is it improves the overall immune system, not only one disease, but it affects the overall immune system and lifestyle also. So there are changes in immune system. Though in more complicated conditions, alternative treatment may not help. As you know, there are some kind of disease that cannot be cured by either yoga or acupuncture or aromatherapy and so on. So in more complicated conditions, Western treatment, surgery using drugs or medicines can be more helpful. So now we have some